one thing Carol and I were just talking about before we got on, so we decided to tell you what we were talking about. We're talking about what we were diffusing at the moment. So I'm going to grab the ones because my diffuser is, y'all can't see it, but it's sitting up here. And I'm going to show you what I have in my diffuser at the moment. And I kind of stumbled upon this. Helps if I grab the right oil. I love grapefruit. I love it. I love the actual fruit of grapefruit, but I love the oil. So in my diffuser right now, I have grapefruit, cinnamon, and Douglas fir. Those of you saw the other day, I posted and said that I had cinnamon and Douglas fir and it smelled like cinnamon apples. And then I added the grapefruit and it smells so yummy. So, oh, and you know what? I just remembered I did put a couple drops of spearmint is in there too. So it is yummy. And those of you know, not to go back to our emotions class, but those of you know that spearmint is the oil of confident speech. And so when you are in a place where you're wanting to speak clearly or confidently, but I use it more for clearly, I utilize spearmint. So that's why. So what do you have, Carol?
I have two different things going, and I'm going to mention both of them because we're going to talk about one of them later. In my diffuser, I have Adaptive, which is like a 24/7 topically and in me and on me product that I use, and grapefruit, white grapefruit. We got that in a product of the month order probably a year ago, and I've just been kind of hoarding it, so I'm using it tonight.
That's funny. When I use white grapefruit, I only use it like on my diffuser jewelry. So like I'll drop it here or on my necklace, or if I'm really in a place, I'll put it on physically, but I don't usually diffuse it. But yeah, it's yummy.
I love it in the diffuser.
I do too.
But I love regular grapefruit in there too. So
yeah.
And then the other thing that I have going, and this is not, well, I guess I can, let's see how hot it is. Y'all, you might have heard me talk about this. I have found candles that I feel comfortable burning. And for those of you who have known me for a while, I actually sold party light candles for a while. So Amy and I both have always really loved candles in our homes. There's just an ambiance to them that you can't get any other way. But, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later, but they are highly toxic. They put lots of toxins into your system. There you go. So this is a wintergreen candle that I've got going. So
sometimes I just open them and smell them.
Yep.
This one actually friends of ours made here locally, and they put all the good stuff in it as well. But this one is country mulled cider, so it smells like,
yeah,
apple cider and yumminess. So yes.
But I'm going to talk about the candles a little bit more here in a little bit. So that's what's in my stuff.
Cool. All right. Is anybody else jumped on? I just like to know.
Did we ever figure out who the rule of three is? The rule of three. Could you please type in the chat section and tell us who you are?
Who are you?
What's your friend? Because you've been on more than one thing.
Yeah. We feel like it's a virtual mask, and we can't see who it is. So I'm telling you, I've run into a couple people lately, and you're like, is that so and so? And then they speak, and sometimes then you can figure it out. Or somebody, well, I'm going to out myself. I don't wear a mask most of the time, and so but so they know who I am, but I can't always tell who they are. So yeah. So anywho, so this is a session. It's called Happy Kids, but this is a session that when we do our local event, we have an event that we do, continuing education event, that's called Your Oil Journey. And it is something that we have, it's live in person, and people come and we're all together, and then we move kind of from session to session. And so the emotions class was that just last week? Emotions?
2 weeks ago.
Was it? Okay. Well, that one is one of the sessions that we had. In fact, all the ones that we are doing this 8 weeks are part of that local live in-person event that we do. So Happy Kids is one that I did. And so let me start off by saying that those of you that know me know that my husband and I have 3 children. They're all adult children. We now have added 2 sweet daughter-in-laws to our family and a grandbaby. And so, but those of you that know me have known me for very long, or maybe those of you that know me most of my life know that my kids were a huge huge focus and priority for me. I ended up actually homeschooling our kids their entire career of education until I got to college. And that was not necessarily my plan, but that just kind of is what happened. My husband worked restaurant and retail at the time, and I knew that if I didn't adjust our schedule, we would not see him and the kids would not see him. And I just really felt like that's what needed to happen. And so I just spent all of my time with my kids. And I love my three. Honestly, they're three of my favorite people in the whole world. And I love spending time with them even today. But if you want to know, I'm a fairly, I used to be a whole lot quieter than I am now, but I'm a kind of a reserved, almost shy person. I know you all are laughing, but I really truly am, until you mess with my kids. And my kids, there were times when things happened and they were like, I didn't even know that mom could do that or whatever. But my biggest thing with kids is they are just little people. They're not inferior. There's nothing, nothing. I don't even know the words. They're just little people. And so I very much try to treat my children and to deal with them in the way that I would want to be treated. So let me tell you one story. So one of my children had a pacifier for a very long time, until now you know who it is, until she was 3 or over. And people, you think things are bad now, and people think that they can just say whatever they want. I can't even imagine how it would be now. But I would have all sorts of opinions, and people would be telling me things, and you need to take her pacifier away. You just need to take it away. You just need to take it away. First of all, I didn't ask for your advice. Second of all, anyway. And I finally looked at somebody one day and I said, let me ask you a question. I knew this person enough to be able to say this too, because I knew what I said. I said, let me ask you this. What if I took your coffee away just right now? Hand me your coffee. You're done. Can't ever have it again. How would you feel? And they kind of stepped back and looked at me, and I was like, see, not going to do that either. So anyway, so all of that to say, they're just little people. And that is how I very much broached the raising of my children. Please don't get me wrong. My children did not run all over me. They did not rule the roost, but we did have a home full of respect, mutual respect. And so that is just kind of carried over into all my life. I just really, when I see little people and little kids, I'm just like, be respectful. When a child says stop, then stop. If they say don't do that, don't do that. But anyway, I digress. So one of the first parts, though, when I did this Happy Kids, is one of the things that I started with was Happy Moms. And so honestly, I think that's really something that is really more valuable than people want to acknowledge. The fact that moms, caregivers, grandmas, I know sometimes that the role of mom, several people might fill that role, but I think it's important to realize that person needs to be taken care of. I say all the time, we can't pour out an empty cup. We have to be able to take care of ourselves, about the whole oxygen mask. They tell you to put it on yourself first and then help the one that needs help. I think all of those things play into that. And those of you that know have seen the concept of the mom is the thermostat of the home, not the thermometer, but the thermostat, where she kind of sets the tone, the temperature of the home. So even more so, there's a lot asked of moms. There's a lot on mom's shoulders or caregiver shoulders. And so I think it's important for us to remember that we do need to take care of ourselves. 3 of those ways of self-care, I really believe, are our emotions oils, our vitamins and supplements, and gut health. So we're going to talk about those quickly, and then we're going to move into talking about the oils as far as kids go. So doTERRA has, it's been probably, how many, right? 4 years ago, Carol, the emotions oils came out.
Yeah, probably about that.
Yeah, it's been a while. So they came out with this whole line of emotions oils, and I just realized that somehow I didn't grab one of them. So here's going to be a test for you all. You can all tell me which one I'm missing, because for some reason my brain is not telling me which one I'm missing. So, but our emotions oils are cheer, passion, forgive, peace, and motivate.
Console.
Thank you. Thank you, Terry Baxter. That's it.
Good
Console.
job.
Correct. Console. Thank you. And I even have, yeah, anyway, it's upstairs.
That's
It's
the
in
one
my
I usually
room.
forget.
It's the one in my room. I didn't have it downstairs, and that's where I was scooping everything up from. But again, those we've talked about the emotions oils before, but for those of you that we just listed them off: passion, peace, cheer, forgive, motivate, console. They actually speak for themselves as far as what they do. The funny kind of ironic thing about these oils is that a lot of times there may be an oil that you do not like the smell of until you need it. And then you just can't get enough of it. The body needs it. It knows it's going to meet a need that you have, and it does that. So incredible, incredible oils. I mean, again, like I said, doTERRA kind of took the thought out of the thought process, not the thought process, the work out of it, named it what it is, and we can go from there. But you all know that I always love my little hacks. Just so that you know, peace is one that actually is very great topically when you have skin stuff going on. And motivate and passion, I started putting those two together when I really need to focus and get things done. I use passion and motivate. Passion can also be used as far as the actual, when you think of more about relationships and using maybe like as a perfume as well, but it's not solely necessarily for that purpose. So that's just an easy thing, again, that doTERRA has given to us as far as those rollers ready to go. They're I mean, literally ready to just roll on. And these I tend to use as perfume. They also come in, let me show you, they also come in little 5 ml bottles, the 5 that have just the straight oil, which are great for diffusing. So any of those oils you could diffuse as well. Yes?
We also know somebody who has used peace oil for tummy trouble.
Absolutely. Yep, you're right. I knew there was another one, and I was trying to think of what that one was. But yes. So again, so many, and that again, I say it all the time. I love the
versatility.
Thank you. Listen, guys, I'm gonna have to get the spearmint out again, and I'm just gonna motivate. But I love it. I love that we can use it for different things. So now doTERRA did come out last year with Adaptive. Has it just been a little over a year ago? Yeah.
Yeah, year and a half.
Yeah. With our Adaptive line, that is the there is a roller that's already rolled, ready to go on. And they're saying they can't. Jeannie's saying she can't hear you, Carol.
At all, or am I just quiet?
Very low.
Very
okay.
Low. Okay. I'll try and lean forward more when I'm talking.
Okay. But they came out with Adaptive, which is an oil, straight oil, which is one great for diffusing. That would be what Carol has in her diffuser. They also came out with there's a touch form, which is already diluted with fractionated coconut oil and ready to go. And there's also a capsule. So a great line of, it's kind of like a gigantic chill pill is really kind of Adaptive is. And those of you that are familiar at all, the capsule has GABA in it. And it's a big long word. We just say GABA for short, but an incredible product. So if that's something, there is a whole Facebook page that is all Adaptive testimonials. That is amazing. So if that's something that just piqued your interest and you're like, I might need to know more about that. First of all, you can go on to Team Holtz or the Essential Education page, and you could type in the little magnifying glass Adaptive, and you'll get all sorts of information. So, but again, those are just some quick, easy ways as an adult, as a caregiver, that you can kind of take just a quick moment of self-care. The next thing we're going to talk about real quick is, as far as self-care goes, is the lifelong vitality. So Carol, can you just talk about that real quick?
Yep. Tell me, is this better? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
But
Jeannie, tell me if this is better. I put earbud in that has a microphone up close to my face. So if you'll type that in. Okay. Lifelong Vitality is an incredible tool that we have available to us to help with just our general overall health. It is a replacement for the multivitamins that maybe you've taken before from the store. Although it's so much better. I don't know if you've heard any of the horror stories that have been out and about. This is not one of the vitamins that they're going to find in the sewer system completely intact. And that has happened. These are bioavailable, which means that your body easily breaks them down and can utilize them in the best way possible. And there are 3 parts to the supplements. We have done a whole session on these. So if you're really interested, you can find all of the recordings of these videos that we do on Monday nights on my website at carolholtz.com under the Learn With Me page. So just know that you can go, if you're interested, you can go and find more information out about this. This comes in 3 parts. The Microplex VMZ is actually the A to Z vitamins that we get. So, and it's got some great ones in it. I mean, everybody's talking right now about vitamin C and D. It's got that in it. It's got thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, several vitamin Bs, iron, iodine, magnesium, zinc. So it's got, and that's just some of them. I'll say something more about that in just a second. So that's the A to Z vitamins, is the Microplex VMC. Then we've got the Z Omega, XE Omega. This is your omega 3, 6, and 9 fatty, started to say fatty acids, but that's not right. It is? Okay. Words are hard. These are all plant-based though. So better for us. And then the last part is our Alpha CRS. Alpha CRS is specifically designed for people who deal with chronic inflammation in the body. So if you are not somebody that deals on a regular basis with aches and pains and just generally not feeling good, you can do, there's also a system called Daily Vitality that just has these 2 pieces. Or you can do the LLV, Lifelong Vitality, and it has all 3. This is,
And I literally think I've only ever met one person when we
exactly
that said that they didn't feel they needed the alpha.
Exactly.
Most of us are dealing with inflammation. Most everybody, inflammation is just out of balance in the body. There is good inflammation in the body that's supposed to be there, but when it gets out of balance, that's literally what causes the majority of issues in the body. That is the basis of most of just left me. What's the
autoimmune?
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh my this is bad, guys. This is bad. But most autoimmune issues, and if you think about it, if you yourself struggle with one or have someone that you love that does, and you know that all of a sudden it's like one, and then now there's this, and then there's this, and then this, it's because it's just going to different parts of the body. But the bottom line is it's inflammation and the imbalance inflammation in the body.
Yeah.
So that is hugely important.
Yeah. These vitamins are especially good for everyone, but they're especially good. They were specifically designed by a triathlete. So they're great for athletes who are, just trying to keep up their general overall health. They're also a great prenatal or postnatal vitamin for mamas. As a prenatal, most doctors will recommend that you add some folate to what's already in here. But if you're in doubt, shoot us a message. We can tell you where to go to print off the information on these vitamins and take them to your doctor the next time you go see them. I've yet to see a doctor that wasn't like, wow, this is good stuff. So that's the LOV.
For sure. Yes. And so again, we were just talking about self-care as mamas or caregivers. Because again, I know other people fill that role of mamas sometimes. And so we were talking about the importance of the gift of the emotions oils, the lifelong vitality and keeping that supplementation healthy, and then gut health. And we're going to talk about this as mamas go, and then as adults go, and then as the children. But gut health is so incredibly important. And if you pay attention to commercials now, it's huge with gut health, talking about gut health. That is where it's, in fact, the gut is called the second brain. So much of our issues actually come from the gut. The term leaky gut was real popular, being thrown around several years ago. And I asked my doctor about that. And she says, honestly, just about everybody's got leaky gut. So it's just a matter of making sure that the health of the gut, the flora in there is what it needs to be. And one of my favorite products in helping with gut health is Terrazyme. Terrazyme is our digestive enzymes that literally just helps the body to break down food more efficiently. It's amazing. We have even found in our family where we have some food sensitivities, and it's sometimes, those of you know that sometimes you just can't avoid it. There's a situation where for whatever reason, you're out and about and nothing's open, and this is the only place it's open, whatever. You get into situations where you just have to eat what's there. Terrazyme can actually help lessen the negative effect of what you're eating a lot of times by utilizing that. So it just gets in, breaks it down, and moves it through the system at a more efficient rate. So incredible, incredible tool. We talked about Terrazyme in depth when we did our daily vitality, right, Carol?
Mhm.
A couple weeks ago. So that's again on Carol's website. That video's there if you want to learn more about that. We talked more about the vitamins and all of that. But real quick, Carol, will you talk about PB Assist?
Yep. PB Assist is another incredible part of our line. PB, obviously, for those of you who are familiar with the term probiotics, PB stands for probiotics, and it is it's an incredible one. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with somebody it's been a couple years ago now, who questioned our probiotics because they don't have to be refrigerated. Well, the reason they don't have to be refrigerated is because they have a very unique technology built into them. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but if you can see on the screen there, the end closest to my thumb is clear, and then the other end is green. That's because it's what's called a double encapsulated capsule. There's actually a capsule within the capsule. So it's got two parts, and that helps it to be most available to your gut. So as it goes through your stomach, it gets one part of it opens up, and then once it gets down further into the gut, the rest of it opens up, and it releases probiotics into the system. I don't even remember, it's thousands of strains of probiotics in this one little capsule. And for those who deal with any kind of gut issues, part of the problem that we have is that we have bad things living in our gut, growing and multiplying in our gut, and not enough good things going in to replace it. So doTERRA has a whole system of things that we can utilize to help eliminate the bad and replace the good. Probiotics are what help to replace the good. So we're going to talk in a few minutes about doTERRA also has a kids line. I actually take both from time to time because they have different strains of probiotics in both of the different products. And sometimes it's good to mix it up to get just as many different strains of probiotics into your system as you possibly can. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the other things that we mentioned when we started tonight, we talked about what was in our diffusers. Well, diffusing is huge and it benefits everyone. And I love that. And I'll be honest with you, when we first started being introduced to oils and started utilizing the oils, diffusing was like the bottom of my list. I felt like it was the least important. And now I just realized how incredibly powerful that it is. First of all, it affects anybody and everybody that walks into the room and they don't even know it. And so I love that. You can really change the atmosphere of what's going on a lot of times by just choosing what's in the diffuser. So, hey, Carol, sometime we should do just a whole thing on just diffusing and different ideas in the way we do that. So, okay. So we talked about happy moms, and now we're going to talk about happy kids. Again, I love the products that doTERRA has given us. When they introduced our kids line at convention several years ago, the entire room just erupted. There was 25,000 people, however many people were screaming because they were so excited. But let me start off by saying one of the biggest issues, and I think people have become a little bit more aware in one aspect. I know people are very aware now of like color dyes, things like that affect children and their emotion, their mood, their body chemistry. But I think people are just now starting to learn about where there are more of those toxins coming at us from different directions than we don't even realize. I'm just going to list off a few things that we all have in our homes or used to, but some of us may still. that actually can affect kiddos. I have a friend who leads a huge doTERRA team, and she's a young mama. In fact, she just had a baby a couple of months ago. And so she has a lot of young mamas in her sphere of influence. And she said she will often get the question, somebody will come up and say, my child's struggling behaviorally, emotionally, my child's on the spectrum, whatever. And they'll say, okay, what oil do you suggest? What product do you suggest first? And she said the first thing that she tells them is, I want you to go home and I want you to remove as many of the toxins that you can in your home. And sometimes they're like, I don't have any toxins in my home, or, those are locked up in the garage or whatever. Cause you're thinking antifreeze, you're thinking
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And she says, no. She said, I mean, go home and unplug any plugins that you have, gather up your room sprays. She said, look at your laundry soap. If you haven't switched to a really clean laundry soap, that sounds funny, clean laundry soap, but that's free of perfumes and that kind of stuff, do that. She said, even your dishwashing detergent, the dish in the dishwasher can affect children. So she said, so first go and just remove that and see what happens in a day or two. She said it usually doesn't take very long. Candles is another one that Carol alluded to in a minute, and I'm going to have her talk about what she's discovered as far as candles. But let me tell you what's happened to us as an adult now that we have very little of this. Because again, for the most part, any type of room spray, something that I need, I diffuse. I also have sprays, my cleaner concentrate, you all know that I add stuff to all the time. So right now, my cleaner concentrate smells very fall, Christmassy, that kind of smell, because I've added oils to that. And so I love that we have these options. The perfume that you wear, it's, again, like I said, there's Motivate. I often wear Motivate. But candles are a huge toxin. So you want to tell them a little bit more about that, Carol?
Sure.
You've done some research
Yep.
on that.
When Amy's talking about toxins in the home, what we're talking about is what's really referred to as a neurotoxin. And what that means is that the toxins actually affect your nervous system. And they can do that in a lot of different ways. Candles are especially bad when it comes to what they release into the air. You've got the fragrances that they put in most candles are not natural. They're synthetic, or they're lower quality. Actually, this is a little known fact. Sometimes there are even lower grade essential oils that have, and we call them lower grade because they might have additives or whatever added to the candles. So if you wouldn't use it on your skin, I wouldn't want it in a candle, but they're actually one of the products that, for example, if doTERRA were to get a batch of oils that didn't meet their standard, one of the things that they do is to help the grower and the producer of the oils dispose of them without having to throw them away. They want them to still be able to get use out of them in some way, while they're helping them figure out how to better the oils that they bring to us. And one of the things that they'll do is help broker those oils to a company that needs them for fragrance or those types of things. Neurotoxins can have a lot of really bad effects on your body. They can do things like, they can be hormone disruptors. So if you know somebody that is dealing with fertility issues or really bad cycles, or just irritability when it comes to your monthly cycle, things like that, that can all be affected by all the things that Amy was talking about, but candles are one of them. Not only is can the fragrance be bad, the products that they use to make the actual wax can be bad. Some people really tout the use of soy in their candles. Well, for the same reasons that we don't want to use soy in our food, we don't want to use soy in our candles. So do a little bit of research. We're not going to cover that tonight, but do a little bit of research about the dangers of soy, and that'll tell you something else. The other things that can be really harmful are the coatings that they put on the wicks themselves and the coatings that are put on wicks. So even a cotton wick, if it's dipped in the wrong kind of a wax or whatever, because they're all dipped in some type of a wax to keep them upright and so that they burn well. can be bad as well. So the one reason I really, and this is not a commercial for this company, but I'm so excited about this company that I've just been talking about it to everybody I know. It's Fontana, Fontana, candles. And they have essential oils, high quality essential oils that they use in the candle itself. The wax is beeswax and coconut oil, and they only use wood wicks. So it's no different than having a fireplace in your home where you're burning wood. So I'm loving them. Right now, the wintergreen one that I'm burning is that. This is a spiced latte. Yumminess. So that's candles.
Yes. So that, again, we love candles, and that's
Absolutely.
again, I think that just gives us some insight to in some of the things that we can remove. And if there
They
are other
still don't replace diffusing your oils in your home.
absolutely, sure.
But they're a nice alternative because it's a wood wick. They crackle and make the right noises, and it's just
Sure.
if you're like an auditory person, or a scent, if your senses are really important to you, and just provide a lot of joy for you, candles are a great alternative, and not to have them is really hard.
Well, and last summer we did a DIY one night where we actually made candles, and we did ones that like with the citronella and stuff that you could put outside. So that was fun. But once you kind of start to think about this and you realize all of that and how it affects us. And even now, because we've made so many of these changes, I have a lot of trouble walking down certain aisles at the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
I have issues where I do a lot of like I like to, it's not garage sailing because I don't, but it's called garage sale. It's like a virtual garage sale, and I will buy things from people, and sometimes it'll be clothes or whatever. And sometimes the fabric softeners and the smells that come, they don't stink by any means. It's just that smell. And I have to wash them because my senses have become so in tune to that, and I get a headache fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I have trouble going into Kirkland's, or even I don't ever go into Bath and Body Works anymore. I just have become so used to more of the natural, the pure smell, like with our oil, and you realize when stuff is synthetic. So again, it affects us, it affects our kiddos. The second thing I want to talk about, we alluded to this before, is gut health, and we were talking about that as adults, but it's so important in kids. And one of the ways that we can get a really good start on that, doTERRA has a set of kids vitamins. They have vitamin, and then they have the liquid that is the comparable to the Zeomegas, which is their fish oils and the fatty acids in that. But from my understanding, and there's lots of information on that, if you want specific information, exactly what's in the vitamins, we can get that to you. But it's really just the kids' version of the Lifelong Vitality tweaked. I think they're either strawberry or watermelon flavored. The vitamins are the chewables.
Yeah.
They changed it, and I can't remember. I think it maybe changed to, anyway, I think maybe changed to water. I don't know. But anyway, and then they have the liquid, which is the Zeomegas, and
which has a wild orange flavoring in it. It's still, from what I understand, still tastes a little fishy, but yeah.
And again, with kids, when you do that, you can adjust like how they take it. If you put it in something, applesauce, something like that, if they don't like the taste. Some kids do like the taste, though. They just, everybody's different, like stuff. But the other piece of that puzzle is the PB Assist Junior. So Carol, if you'll talk about the PB Assist Junior. She just told us about the PB Assist, which was that cute little green capsule she showed us. So now she's going to talk real quick about the PB Assist Junior.
Yep. Our PB Assist Junior comes in these little packets. Think pixie stick, literally. Think pixie stick. These are a strawberry watermelon flavored powder. It's like a powder. They're actually just like our other PB Assist. They're encapsulated, so they have multiple layers in them. But you eat it just like you would a pixie stick. Pop it up, and I honestly, I like this. I mean, it's like candy. Good stuff. I have the box here. It comes in a box of 30, so it's a month's worth for one kiddo, and they're supposed to take one a day. It says it includes 5 billion live cells of a unique blend of 6 different probiotic strands, specifically selected for their benefits among children. They're encapsulated to ensure they reach the intestines safely and are blended into a delicious powder that can be poured directly into the mouth for a fun and tasty way to integrate into anybody's daily routine. You could also, if you've got, for some reason, got a kiddo that doesn't like candy, or maybe they're a little bit too young yet, to use a powder like this, you could sprinkle it on applesauce or oatmeal, cereal, and any of their foods that wouldn't be altered too much by the strawberry watermelon scent or flavor.
Well, and the great thing about that, and we're talking about gut health, and you know that when you as an adult and your system gets out of whack, that happens to kids often. It kind of amazes me when you start just listening to conversations between mamas with young kids and how many children are constipated on a regular basis. That's funny. That's fun on a regular basis. I didn't mean it that way. But you know, and again, you know how you feel when your system, whatever that looks like, is out of whack. Well, that happens to our kiddos. Again, some of it's diet based, some of it's just the situation where when I talk about, in fact, my daughter-in-law is a school teacher. And I was talking to my son the other day and I said, hey, do you ever go in and have lunch with, you know, with her? And he's like, Mom, she has 20 minutes for lunch. And I'm like, 20 minutes. And again, so think about the system. I know a lot of kids that have trouble going to the bathroom if they're not at home, you know, and so lots of things are feeding into that. So PB Assist Junior is just a way to really help get some good stuff into the system, into the gut, into the intestines, and help get that system a little bit more on track. And, you know, we got lots of kids that deal with tummy issues. That's a great place to start, an easy place to start, a yummy place to start that usually you don't get much pushback on. So, speaking of tummy things, I'm going to go right in and talk real quick about our kids line of oils. So first of all, this is what was introduced a couple years ago at convention. Look at this cute little pouch. It's like a leather, not leather. What's that word?
It's probably leatherette.
Yeah. But
leather-like
washable stuff. It is comes with a carabiner that could be clipped to something, backpack, whatever. Although I wouldn't send this whole thing with anybody, but it can be clipped.
But it could be clipped to your diaper bag too.
True.
Yeah.
You open this up and it actually snaps on the back so that it can actually sit open, but there's little slots. I took the oils out already because I wanted to be able to show you, but little things where the oils can slide down in there. And then there is a little tie in the top. There's this little compartment and in the top, and that is all of these little toppers with hooks that can go directly onto the bottles of oil. Okay. So right now I have one of these, not one like this, that is actually clipped to my purse, and my On Guard hand sanitizing mist is hooked to this. So now I don't have to fish around on my purse anymore. It's hooked onto my strap. It hangs inside my purse, and my hand sanitizing mist is right there all the time. But so this line of oils comes with all of these cute little, and these color coordinate to the colors of the oils. And I love these. They came with little flashcards. Okay. We already talked about, we talk about Calmer? Oh, that was
for just a sec. Oh yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. I'm like, anyway, so these are little flashcards that come with the oils. And let me just tell you, okay, so Calmer, let me show it to you. Calmer is this little purple, see, purple card, purple writing on the bottle. And then it has a purple carabiner right there. See it? Top. So this actually, and what I love about these is it's actually helping kids learn how to figure out what oil they need to take care of a need or an issue, and to be able to take care of it themselves, which I love. So Calmer is our restful blend, what it's called. And it says, when it's bedtime, roll Calmer onto the bottoms of your feet and onto your wrists, climb into bed and take a deep breath to just let your mind rest. And I just love how it's telling them what to do with it, how to use it, what it's for, where to put it, and what to, what it's for. So I love that. I love that it's empowering kids to be able to think, okay, what's going on with me? And this is where I wish I had our littles here, that the kids that my daughter has nannied for years and years. Now they're all in school, so she doesn't see them as much as she used to, but they have a kids kit of oils. And so funny because she'll be there even now. And just recently, the oldest, who's now, I think he's 10, he said he was dealing with something, and Ashlyn's like, well, what oil do you think? I mean, what roller do you think you might need? And he's like, I think I need steady. And she's like, yeah, I think so too. And so I love how they're learning that though. And how empowering is that? There's nothing worse than feeling off as an adult and going, I don't know what to do with, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel this way? And sometimes we don't know why we feel that way, but we know how we feel and we know what oil we can grab. And I love that. So again, this is our kids line. And there are 6 original that came with the original kit. And then this past 2 years ago, I think they added another. So we have a total of 7. But let me first tell you that these are diluted. And let me Carol, will you just explain really quick about dilution and what that means?
Yeah. Oftentimes when we think about dilution, we think about like putting ice in your drink and it dilutes. This is sweet tea, by the way, half and half tea, by the way. If you have diluted tea or diluted lemonade or diluted soda or, whatever, it generally just doesn't taste as good. And it makes it weaker and all of the things. That is not the case when we dilute oils. And we dilute oils by using what's called a carrier oil. Most of the time we use something like a fractionated coconut oil, which fractionated just means that they have processed it in such a way, how coconut oil that we cook with usually hardens below a certain temperature. So they've fractionated the coconut oil in such a way that it doesn't solidify again. And they've added some of that to the oil. So it doesn't adulterate the oil in any way because it's just the coconut oil, pure coconut oil, and the oil that we have advertised. Generally then what that does is it actually acts as kind of a time release for your body, for lack of a better term. If you put either one of our touch oils, which is already diluted, or you can take just a little bit of fractionated coconut oil and put a drop of oil in your hand and then rub it wherever you want it to go. Or sometimes I even will just put a little bit of fractionated coconut oil on wherever I'm applying the oil, and then put the oil on top and rub it all in together. What that does is it helps the oil stay in the area that you applied it, first of all. So if you have, like, let's say we have a sore knee that's flared up and bothering you, you put the fractionated coconut oil on the knee first and then put Deep Blue Rub on it. It's going to target that area in particular. Instead of it will spread throughout the body, but it's more targeted in that area. It will also slow down the absorption of that oil into the body so that it works longer and a little bit more concentrated. So that's why we dilute.
Yeah, exactly. And dilution also helps with skin sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
So like, for instance, we always dilute with children and older people, always. Yes. It just goes into the system at a slower rate. Like Carol just said, it keeps it a little bit more localized, and then it goes in at a slower rate to not overwhelm the system, either the body itself or the skin, either one.
Yep. So or anybody else that has a sensitivity. Yes. Amy has a lot of trouble with skin stuff. During the winter time, I do. Mm-hmm. So just if you know that there's a sense, we used to never dilute oils. We never talked about it. We didn't really understand it. Now, for the most part, I pretty much always dilute my oils with very few exceptions.
Mm-hmm. So all of our kids line and our touch line, which I'll just briefly talk about in just a second, are already diluted there, and they are diluted. doTERRA has done where it's diluted at its optimum. So for instance, we have a lavender touch and an oregano touch. They're going to be diluted at a completely different ratio because lavender's already calm to begin with and oregano is hot. So I can tell you that there's going to be more. I'm going to just go by I don't know the exact dilution, but I'm going to tell you that there's going to be more fractionated coconut oil in oregano than there is in lavender. Mm-hmm. So we talked about calmer, helps with sleep, calming the emotions down. Again, it also helps with skin stuff. We have one that's called Brave. I'm going to read about Brave because this is one that, and it's called the Courage Blend. And it says, before new or different situations or just to start your day, roll Brave onto your tummy or bottoms of feet for a boost of courage and confidence. And again, I love that. And I will tell you, I've used Brave when I'm going to the dentist. So again, not just for kids, for us. So we have Calmer, Brave, Rescuer, which is kind of a kid's version of a Deep Blue, very mild. Not Deep Blue's a little bit, a little bit, even for some adults, it's much, but I use Rescuer even on a regular basis too. If I've got something, I pulled something, headache, whatever. Steady is the kids grounding blend. So it's very much like our Balance, but just incredible. Let me read about Steady too, just because I want to see what it says. For those times when you feel nervous or anxious, rub Steady on your neck and wrist to calm and comfort your emotions. So love it. And again, look at how empowering it is for these kiddos. Then we have one that's called Stronger, which is the kids' version of On Guard. Thinker, which helps with focus. We also have a blend called Intune, and Intune is one of those blends that you either love or you don't love it. And I don't love it. But Thinker has been a great addition for me. It actually has, I think it has spearmint in it because it smells minty. But I love Thinker. And again, can be used for adults. Don't think they're just for kids. And then the newest to this line is Tamer, which is anything tummy related. I actually have also used it for headaches, and it is amazing. Tamer is, and I've also used it on skin stuff. When I had skin stuff that was flared up that I just was like, this needs to calm down, I've used Tamer as well. So love it. Again, comes with the little cards. Now you can buy each of those individually if you want, but they also come in they come together in the cute little kit where you get the cards and the little toppers, which I love.
And for those of you who purchased the kids line when it first started off, it now also includes the Tamer blend.
It does all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's all 7.
Cool. And again, incredible things. And again, the nice thing about it is, they can sit wherever you have them. I know some people keep them in the drawer. Some people keep them, in the bathroom, whatever. And kiddos can just grab them, roll them on, and you're not worried. You're not worried about getting too much. You're not worried about, they just can roll it on and go. So I love it. Love that. We've alluded to the touch line. You know that doTERRA came out several years ago, and I have to chuckle at myself now because when they first came out, I'm like, I'm not buying oils that are already diluted. That is crazy. Why would I do that? And now I'm like, please bring on. I think they should all come in diluted roller and be ready to go. So, and I have to tell you, I made a couple of rollers myself. In fact, Carol, I don't know if I told you this, I made a Copaiba roller for myself because it's so much a part of some of the protocols that I do that I'm like, I'm just gonna put it in a roller. So I did that myself. Were you gonna say something? Sorry.
No.
Okay, so we just talked about the touch. Again, they're diluted perfectly to whatever their base oil, whatever their oil is. So this is lavender. We just talked about lavender and oregano. They're going to be diluted completely different. Those of you that have experienced straight oregano oil know that it is hot. And let me tell you, if you get it in your eye, it hurts. I have done that. But this is literally I can rub it on and it doesn't hurt. I can tell you right now, if I put a drop of straight oregano oil on there, I would be feeling it. I
use the diluted oregano on my face if I have a blemish that pops up.
Oh yeah, it's really, and I've done it. I do it down the spine because again, it's part of some protocols that I do at different times. Yeah. Hey Carol, do the Serenity and Balance, can we get those in a touch form all the time? Or was that just part of I cannot remember.
I think we can Balance now. Let me look while you keep talking.
Okay.
Last I knew, the 3-pack was still available in the back office. Okay. Last I knew.
So doTERRA did a limited time thing where we could get this little cute little gift thing that was Helichrysum Touch, Serenity and Balance, which are great. But those oils in and of itself, and again, if we can't, you can do them yourself in your little roller bottle and do that. And if you need help with that, we can help you. But
Amy,
frankincense, yes.
Balance does come. The Balance Touch does come. Well, it's not really a touch because it's already diluted, but Balance in the roller bottle does come in one of the wellness kits.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. So again, doTERRA's got it where these are ready, On Guard, diluted, ready to roll, ready to go. Those can also be used with kids, kiddos. Now, real littles, I would probably still, like Carol was talking about, dilute. I know, putting a little bit of fractionated coconut oil on your finger, then rolling the touch over top of that, and then applying it to a small child. But we have those options as well, and I love that. And again, these kits there's just several different kits, several different of the kids line available. Those of you that are might be watching this video later, this is something that's going on right now, the month of February 2021. doTERRA is doing a special this month, an enrollment special and a 200 PV special. And so this stuff could be incorporated into that. So great kits already put together for us, which I love. So let me talk real quick and then we're going to do some questions.
Hey, Amy,
yes.
let's pause a second and
Okay.
have them go ahead and start typing their questions, any questions that they have into the chat.
Sure. Do that. But when people often talk about kids being on the spectrum, different things, I will tell you that the two oils, if you have somebody in your life that is struggling with that, the two oils that come to mind at a great place to start, use as a foundation, is frankincense and copaiba. Both of those are incredibly powerful to help with kiddos or people struggling somewhere on the spectrum. So just kind of throw that out there. I will let you know too that wild orange, those of you that have not smelled our wild orange oil, it is amazing. But wild orange actually helps to calm brain chatter. So for those of you that you yourself might struggle with that, or you have a kiddo that just the brain just won't turn off and quiet down, wild orange is an incredible one for that. I would diffuse it, inhale it from the bottle, or actually take it and rub up the back of the neck as close to the brain as possible. Anything that that is, I mean, I know it all starts in the brain, but really brain focused. I love to do oils up the back of the neck as close to the brain as possible. So wild orange is a great one for that. I do want to throw out one thing and just let you know, those of you know that you've had kiddos and know that sometimes when you utilize different medicines, cough medicines, whatever, that things sometimes work opposite. Well, sometimes so do our oils. And so sometimes people will use lavender, serenity, any of the wood oils, and they might work opposite, and it like revs them up and they're awake and they're whatever. And so often what we say is when that happens, go opposite. So if you have a kiddo or somebody that struggles with that, try using a citrus oil. And I know that sounds crazy, or a mint oil, and see what happens. I wouldn't necessarily advise it right at bedtime. You might want to try that before bedtime and see how that affects them. But it's just like with the rest of us. When we have a class or we have a call like this, if we were to stop right now and ask everybody, first of all, maybe what their favorite oil is or what their sleep oil is, we will get a variety of answers of everything from lavender to peppermint. And some of you that use lavender are going, why in the world would anyone use peppermint? But we do in our household. It goes in the diffuser above my husband's and my bed every single night. So I love just, again, learning more about oils and how to utilize them. Again, Carol mentioned something when she was talking about the lifelong vitality. And I think if you pay any attention right now, a lot of the hot topic words right now are plant-based and bioavailable. Well, our oils are the ultimate at plant-based because they are plants. That's what they came from. So that is the ultimate plant-based product, are our oils, and even our other supplements and products. But the other reason why that's so important is because any plant-based is extremely bioavailable for our bodies. And again, you all know I say all the time, why do our oils work? Because our body sees them as food. And that's why they work. So that's why it's so important what we choose, whether it's what we choose to eat, whether we choose what to put on our bodies, in our bodies, around our bodies, it all matters. And that plant-based is so incredibly important, and it makes it incredibly bioavailable. And that is why we love our oils. Yeah. So that is that. Okay. Let me see if I might be able to swipe and see.
I can read questions. Tamoa wants to know what oils are good for teething and what's the recommended age for kids supplements.
Carol, do you have a book right there that tells age wise? It's pretty little as far as the vitamins.
Yeah. Okay. So the kids multivitamin supplement is a chewable, and it's probably this big around the tablet. So I would say, whenever you feel like they can either chew it up, or if you can find a way to grind it up and put it in their food or whatever, you could do it that way. I would just check with your doctor on that one. doTERRA, I promise you, is not going to give a recommended age.
Again, it is different for
Yeah.
everybody. So yeah. And you asked about teething. Siberian fur is a great one. That one is actually a fur that we actually can use internally. Most of our furs we don't, but that one we can. You could do that directly on the gums. Copaiba is another one that's really good for anything teething and gum related. If you are not, I will tell you, neither one of them taste great. So you may get pushed back about trying to put them directly on the gums. You could do them on the outside of the jaw, really, truly, almost just as efficiently. So yes. And I know, yeah, lavender. I know some people do use lavender for teething as well, which makes sense. It's calming. You could also use even tamer.
Yeah.
Again, calmer along the jaw lines. But if you're doing something directly on the gums, Siberian fir and Copaiba would be my choices. But like I said, they're not going to taste super great.
Yeah. But you could always add another oil that maybe would taste a little bit better, like maybe do an orange, wild orange, or
I was trying to think too. So yeah. Any other questions, Carol?
Let's see. The rule of three, who still has not told us who they are.
They're hiding.
Says,
Carol.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's Denise. Because we got Diane and Lise both on here. Anyway, when you say real littles, are you making reference to infants or toddlers or a bit bigger?
I actually meant to give this information as well. There is a lady that has been with doTERRA for a long time, but she's actually been a midwife for like over 20 years. But her name is Stephanie Fritz, Fritz is her name. She has a group on Facebook called the Essential Midwife Community. It's the TEM community. So the Essential Midwife. She is a huge wealth of knowledge, and she will get real specific too as far as age. But I do know people on our team. In fact, my daughter-in-law has used oils directly. In fact, when my grandbaby was born, she had frankincense to immediately put on the crown of her head, and they used myrrh on the umbilical cord and frankincense just right away. So yes, people use them with littles. Again, you dilute heavily, and depending on how little, like I said, you can even take you would take a kid's oil and might even dilute it more, where you put fractionated coconut oil on your fingers, take this, rub it on that, rub your fingers together, and then use that. Another rule, another idea with babies or really littles is applying the oils to the mom, and then the mom just holding the baby. And that's another way where they're getting it aromatically, and they're getting some, probably very little, like through the skin, but they're getting that benefit aromatically. So, and again, you just kind of, there's not a set, there's just not a set thing. And I know why. It's just because, again, people are different, bodies respond differently.
Yeah.
Just like adults do.
Yeah. When you're talking about, I don't think we've talked at all about diffusing with kiddos. Diffusing with littles like infants and toddlers is, I hate to make the comparison, but it's kind of like diffusing with pets. The important thing about that is that when you diffuse with an infant or a small child, you want to make sure that you leave the door propped open a little bit so that it's not all concentrated in the room as heavily as it would be. And I personally would set the settings on your diffuser so it's intermittent and farther apart. Because again, they just don't need it as heavily as we do, but it is safe to do so.
But again, Stephanie Fritz is a huge wealth of information. She has books. I do not have that one up here with me. But she's got a book that, like I said, if you just Google her name, Stephanie Fritz, Fritz, and I think it's essentials for, it's like pregnancy, birth, and babies, or something like that.
I have mine here, Abe.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
And again, that Facebook page, I'm a part of that, and it's a wealth of information. So yes.
It's backwards, but you get the idea.
Super handy.
Yeah.
It's It's not backwards for us.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
All right. The rule of three is asking about clove for teething.
Yes, and clove is, but I'm telling you, clove is hot. Clove is spicy. If you're gonna use it for teething, because I'm telling you, it'll light your world on fire. As an adult, it is powerful. So it would have,
But it works.
It sure does. And
Yeah.
it would be heavily diluted. I would do that. And again, yeah, but yes, it does work as well. But we don't want to scare the children so much that they're afraid
Exactly.
of the
Exactly. I have a lady I follow on Instagram who got a new puppy a while back and still trying to introduce the puppy to oils, but it's still at a place where every time it smells the oils, it like runs away from her. We don't want that to be our toddlers.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think that's all the questions we have. So if you have a question, type it out fast. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Peace. We have that oil.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
I thought I saw a question pop up.
Okay. Clove for teething. Ladies, I asked about clove and little age. You said rules of threes. Not sure why. It's Bridget. Bridget, your account comes up on our page and it says it's the rule of three. So that's why we're asking.
Good to know.
Bridget, there we go.
That's so funny. That's so funny. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So again, if in doubt, always dilute. Again, it doesn't make it, in fact, when somebody asks me for whether it's an adult, a child, whatever, again, one thing we didn't say is that we have learned that when it comes to oils, less is more.
Mm-hmm.
But it's less oils more often, and consistency is key. So again, if I'm going to do something where I'm giving somebody, in fact, I just, my husband took some oils into one of his coworkers for her to try. And, I set some rollers and some stuff. And when I'm doing that, I will add a good amount of fractionated coconut oil, but so that they can use it often, and that's kind of the same with our kiddos, their systems are little, there's a lot going on, and all the crud's going around, but keeping it in the system at a consistent base gives the body the tools to do what it needs to do. So, and again, I love the fact that we have oils, that we don't have to wait every 4 to 6 hours, or worse yet, 12 hours. If you remember, you take something and you're like, it doesn't work and you can't do anything for 12 hours. Ugh, drives me crazy. So I love having these options, because again, say you've got one that's struggling with focus, and you grab Thinker. Okay. That did not do as much as I thought. Okay. Well, now try Steady and do it, within a few minutes. We don't have to wait, and then try some Calmer, we've got options. So again, I love it. I love that we have all these things. So many of our oils are similar in the chemical makeup, but they're just a little bit different. And our bodies are all just a little bit different. And the way that they process and take things in. So I love that we have all these options.
Yep. All right. I'm not seeing any other questions.
All right. Good to see you guys.
Yeah. Did we talk about, I want to take just a minute and talk about the enrollment promo that we've got going on and this is for those who might be watching the video later on the Essential Education for Life page. If you are on this page and don't yet have your own doTERRA account, doTERRA has a special going on this month that will give you lots of free stuff if you're interested. If you have at least a $150 total order, and that is the dollar amount, so that can include your enrollment fee, which you can do one of two ways. If you purchase a kit, an enrollment kit, then the enrollment fee is actually rolled into the price of the kit. But if you don't want one of the kits, you can actually pay $35 as an enrollment fee and then order whatever you want. And that $35 in this instance is going to count towards your $150. And the reason we're pointing that out is because that's not always the way it works with doTERRA. So if you do that and your order is at least $150 for your enrollment order during the month of February, then you're going to get $50 in doTERRA dollars to spend at a future point in time. The person who introduces you and helps you get your account set up is also going to get that $50. So if that's something that you're interested in as you're watching this video, either comment below the video on the Essential Education for Life page, where you found the link, or shoot a message to Amy or I, or the person who introduced you to this page. And if you don't know who that was, if you can't remember who that was, again, shoot us a message and we can help you find out who that was and help you discern whether or not they're still a doTERRA member and can help you with that. Otherwise, we will get you set up. The beauty of the whole thing is also, like I said, the person who invites you also gets $50 doTERRA dollars to spend on a future product. Now, if you're going to spend the $150 and you are financially capable of going ahead and bumping your total order up to what we call 200 PV, which might be a little bit more than $200, just in full transparency. But if you take the time and make the effort to do that, then doTERRA is going to send you the $50 plus all the freebies that we have in a promotion this month for free On Guard products. And what is included in that for the month of February is you get a bottle of the foaming hand wash, the On Guard foaming hand wash, a bottle of the sanitizing mist. This is all On Guard stuff. A 15 ml bottle of the straight On Guard oil, and a 10 ml bottle of the On Guard Touch. Thank you, Amy. And the value of that plus the $50 that you get to spend later is $131 at our wholesale cost. It's more than that at retail. So you can see you spend $200 and get $131 back. That's a pretty good deal. So if that's something that you're interested in, like we said, either reach out to the person who invited you to watch this video or to be on this Essential Education for Life page, or reach out to Amy and I, and we'll help you find out who that was. If they're no longer involved with doTERRA, then we'll get you in touch with the person that invited them, or we'll help you get it set up. So just reach out to us, let us know, and we're happy to make that happen for you. So anything else, Amy?
Nope.
Okay.
And next week, we're talking about the Symphony of the Cells protocols, training, and the Aroma Touch. So
yeah. And we're just going to do a very basic overview of both of those programs because there's lengthy trainings for both of them. So we just kind of introduced you to what they are so you can do the research and get set up with learning more about those if you're interested. So, all right.
Good to see you guys.
That's it. Thank you guys for showing up. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.